Reds, what a Sunday afternoon. 3-1. Manchester United 3. Aston Villa 1. Villa go home with absolutely nothing. Old Trafford was rocking. It was chaotic. It was dramatic. And honestly, it was everything a big Premier League game should be. If you haven't watched it yet, go and watch it right now, because that is exactly the kind of afternoon that reminds you why you fell in love with this football club in the first place. This is Reds View. And I won't lie, I am absolutely buzzing. That was a massive 3 points. That was a statement result. And there is a lot to break down today. We'll talk about the match. We'll talk about the goals. We'll talk about what this result means for the top 4 race. And then later in the video, we've got some serious transfer news to get into, because things are really starting to move behind the scenes at Old Trafford. So, we've got a lot to cover. Stay with me. Let's start with the game, because going into today, this was as big a league match as United have played under Michael Carrick. It wasn't just 3 points, it was a direct 6-pointer. Villa came into the game level on points with United. 4th place, same ambition, same target. If they had come to Old Trafford and won, they would have leapfrogged us in the table. The confidence swings their way, and suddenly the top 4 race becomes very complicated for United. So the stakes today were enormous, and Carrick knew it. You could see it in the team selection. Now let's talk about the lineup, because Carrick made some interesting decisions. Mason Mount returned to the squad after being out since the Manchester derby win over City in January, but he didn't come on. Benjamin Sesko also started on the bench. Instead, Carrick brought Ahmad into the starting 11. Clearly he wanted more width and creativity from the start. And in the first half, you could see why. The lineup looked like this. Lamans in goal, Dalot, Maguire, Yoro and Shaw across the back. Casemiro and Mainu in midfield. Then Cunha, Bruno Fernandes and Ahmad behind Mbuemo up front. A 4-2-3-1, compact, disciplined, with pace on the counter. Classic Carrick setup. Now the first half, I'll be honest, it wasn't vintage Manchester United. Villa actually controlled the ball early on. For about the first 12 minutes, they tried to dominate possession, slow the game down, and control the tempo. But United were comfortable. The defensive shape was good, the press was organised, and whenever Villa moved into dangerous areas, United dealt with it calmly. The first half ended 0-0, but you could feel something building inside Old Trafford. There was tension. You could feel that one moment, one mistake, one bit of quality was going to change the game. And that is exactly what happened. Casemiro opens the scoring. 53 minutes, Casemiro, 1-0 United. And honestly, what a moment. Because Casemiro has had his critics this season. People have questioned whether he's still the right player for this midfield. And there he is, scoring in a massive 6-pointer at Old Trafford. The stadium absolutely erupted. That is a player who still has big moments in him. But then the chaos started. Ross Barkley scored for Villa, 1-1. And for 5 or 10 minutes after that goal, the atmosphere shifted. Villa players were celebrating like they had taken the lead. And inside Old Trafford, there was a nervous feeling. You start thinking, are we going to let this slip? Are we going to repeat the Newcastle situation? Because the Newcastle defeat was still fresh in everyone's mind. 10-man Newcastle beating United. That result shocked everyone. And Barkley's goal brought that fear right back. Then Carrick made changes. And those changes changed the game. At 71 minutes, Matheus Cunha, 2-1 United. And I want to talk about Cunha for a moment, because he has been fantastic since joining this club. The energy, the directness, the bravery on the ball. His goal today showed all of that. He drove forward, no hesitation, no second guessing, just a clinical finish. And then the moment everyone was waiting for. Benjamin Sesko. Off the bench, 81 minutes, 3-1, Game over. Super sub. What a moment. Sesko has been in incredible form lately, and the fact he can come off the bench in a massive game and score like that tells you everything about the confidence in this squad. Bruno Fernandes, by the way, had 2 assists today. The captain once again pulling the strings, finding the right passes, leading the team. 3-1, full time, Old Trafford roaring. Now here's my honest opinion. This result matters for 2 reasons. First, the response. United answered the Newcastle defeat immediately, and psychologically, that matters. Because when you lose your first game under a new manager, confidence can wobble. Today United answered that loudly. Second, the points gap. United are now 3 points clear of Aston Villa, 6 points ahead of Chelsea and Liverpool, and still chasing Manchester City. The message today was simple. United are not slowing down. United are not going away. Now let's talk about the big question. Michael Carrick, permanent manager? Carrick has impressed the hierarchy since taking charge. He started with shock wins over Manchester City and Arsenal, and the team has kept performing. Sir Jim Ratcliffe recently praised Carrick, but stopped short of confirming him as the permanent manager. Which makes sense. This is a huge decision. But Gary Neville believes Carrick is in the box seat, and honestly, I think Carrick deserves serious consideration. He has taken 19 points from 24 possible. That is elite form. But the club are also considering other options. Names like Unai Emery, Andoni Iraola, Oliver Glasner, Roberto De Zerbi, Julian Nagelsmann. Interestingly, Emery is the manager of the team we just beat today. Football really is ironic sometimes. Now let's talk transfers, because things are heating up. Manchester United are currently frontrunners to sign Bournemouth and USMNT midfielder Tyler Adams. Liverpool and Chelsea are also interested. Adams is experienced, Premier League proven, and he would bring athleticism and pressing ability to the midfield. But the bigger target, Elliot Anderson. The Nottingham Forest midfielder is reportedly United's top midfield target. He is energetic, technically strong, and exactly the type of modern midfielder United need. The problem? Manchester City also want him. That could be a serious battle. There is also the Jan Diomande story. The RB Leipzig winger is attracting interest from both United and Liverpool, and recently Bayern Munich pulled out of the race, which could open the door for United, especially if Champions League football is secured. Now let's talk about possible departures. United are reportedly willing to listen to offers for Højlund, Xerxes, Ugarte, Onana and Mason Mount. That doesn't mean they are being pushed out. It simply means the club would consider strong offers. Napoli are reportedly ready to trigger Højlund's clause. If that happens, United will need a new striker. That becomes a priority. But there is good news. Kobbie Mainoo. Carrick has revived his role in the squad, and that has reduced the risk of him leaving. That is huge, because Mainoo is the future of this midfield. And finally, Bruno Fernandes, the captain. 2 assists today, 12 assists in the league this season. United want to keep him for at least 1 more year. There is interest from Al Hilal, but honestly, if Bruno leaves, who replaces him? Nobody in this squad does what Bruno does. He needs to stay. Today was a big day. 3-1 against Aston Villa, a massive win in the top 4 race. Cunha delivered, Sesko delivered, Bruno delivered. Carrick delivered a tactical win in a huge match. And off the pitch, transfers are moving, contracts are being discussed, and the future of this club is starting to take shape. With the right manager and the right signings, this team could genuinely compete at the very top next season. Today felt like a big step. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did today's win calm your nerves after Newcastle? Who should be the permanent manager? And should United do everything possible to keep Bruno? If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe to Red's View, and I'll see you in the next one. Come on, United.